A very good morning to one and all. Welcome to day 3 session of 7-day faculty development program on recent trends in management, organizing by Department of Management Studies, Gates Institute of Technology. This is Sunil Manohar. Now I would like to introduce today's speaker. Dr.M.R.Senapathy is an Associate Professor, Finance, Sivani Institute of Management, Secunderabad, a prominent base school in South India. Sir is also involved in training and consultancy cell of the Institute, conducting management development and faculty development programs, apart from teaching banking related subjects to the students of the Institute. He also regularly visits various corporate for conducting MDP activities. Sir has vast experience of over 3 decades, 26 years in banking industry, both public and private banks, over 10 years in academic experience. As a banker, he has been functioning in various managerial capacities: credit analyst, credit administrator, inspector, managers, senior managers, and chief managers. Sir has worked in various places such as Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, Guntur, Bangalore, Tirupati, Bhubaneswar, and Delhi, etc. Experience in banking. Sir joined as a provisional officer in 1978 in Andhra Bank. He functioned in various capacities as technical officer, credit analyst, assistant, deputy and senior manager in Andhra Bank. Sir joined developed credit bank in 2000 as a chief manager and Indus Bank India 3 years later. I left banking industry in 2006. In Andhra Bank in corporate office, being credit analyst, he also involved in credit policy matters. He was a regular visiting faculty to the Andhra Bank staff training college, conducting classes in various credit analysts, credit risk, credit policies, from clerks to chief managers. Sir also conducted classes for banking employees of other banks in staff training institute at SBI Secunderabad for writing CAIIB exams. As a former banker, he continues to visit Andhra Bank Apex College as a guest faculty, conducting training programs to the managers of various ranks in the area of credit, operations, and soft skills as well. As an academician in ECFI, University has been credited with conducting over 1,000 MDP to corporate professionals, faculty development programs for faculty members, and SDP of college students all over the country. Sir has also far addressed over 40,000 participants from various fields. Sir holds master degree in science and management, MPhil and PhD management, a degree in law and certified associate of Indian Institute of Bankers. He has written 9 articles so far from various journals and books in area of finance, banking and investment. Sir, we welcome you, sir. I request you to hand over the session. Thank you.
Very good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to be associated with Gates Institute of Technology. I have been a frequent visitor of this institute, conducting programs for the faculties and students. And when the head of the department, Mr. Ismail, asked me to take up this program, it was really my pleasure. Yesterday, you must have heard Dr. Pavan Patel, my colleague in SSIM. We both used to visit this institute frequently and conduct programs. And our association, even post-COVID, continues. The topic today that I would like to share with you and discuss with you is workplace management. A very interesting area. Yesterday, I think Pavan spoke about certain risk areas. Now today, workplace management, how is it going to change? We are already seeing in our house, we are seeing in our institutions, the way things are changing. COVID has virtually changed all of this. It has changed the way we started thinking, changed the way we are starting the work, changed the way we were working and we are now working. And perhaps some changes may come in the future as well. The program that is going to run for about an hour and a half, I would like to share the following aspects. Resetting the working trends. What are the trends that are happening and what is it going to happen? How we are going to work, how we work, how we are going to work in future. Futuristic trends in integrated facilities management. Because when things change, even the facilities associated with the workplace also should change. So some changes will already come. They have already started coming and it is going to be an order of the day in future. The third area where I am going to discuss is the challenges to regain the momentum. The last couple of months has taken us a couple of years back, maybe even a decade back. So things have totally changed now. How the industry is going to gain that momentum back? What are the changes that are likely to come in the industrial sector? How is it going to affect us? This is one area where I am going to share with you. The next one is very important, our personal and professional lives. Because when the working scenario changes, even our personal life is going to have some change. We may face certain uncertainties, certain risks. And how are we going to handle them? How are we going to tune ourselves to the change in the scenario? That is the fourth point that I would like to share with you all. And the industries that are going to set up new trends post-COVID. Which are the industries which may fade back? Which are the industries that may pick up? How are the industries which are already there and likely to have an impact? How are they going to change themselves? Because change is inevitable, it is constant. So these are the 5 areas where I would like to share with you. We will discuss today. We will deliberate. It is also my pleasure to share this information with certain international participants as well today. I understand that some professors from Bangladesh and other countries have also joined. And this is going to give me a very good opportunity to interact with them as well. Because this pandemic has impacted the entire world. Nobody has escaped. And all of us are facing this music. Some initial thoughts of mine, which I am sharing with you. Lasting impact on the future of workplace. Workplace, even education sector also, it has made a lot of impact. I'm sure all of you will agree with this. It's critical for business leaders to understand that large-scale shifts are in progress. They are going to be very large. There will be a change in how people work and how business will get done. This is again going to be a order of the day. So one thing is, COVID has left a lasting impact. This impact may not be for the next 1 or 2 years, maybe even more. I would say the nearest term perhaps could be 1.5 to 2 years. Long term, we can't imagine, but it could even run almost for about 4 to 5 years. And the business leaders, knowing the situation, have to make certain large-scale shifts, not minor shifts that normally one makes, but we need to make large-scale shifts. And also how the business will be done. So industrialists, industry experts, leaders in the industry must and should put their heads down and see how best they can be in the business. What are the changes that they need to make in the business so that they can survive? So what very interesting factor is, there were so many issues earlier. What we are seeing is once in a century. We were not in the last century. The great pandemic of 1918, we were not there. We do not know what happened unless we saw the steps that they have taken. But we are seeing it in person now. So if you see the pendulum of the clock, which has been moving from left to right, pattern has totally changed to one end. It's not in the middle, it's not in a balanced situation, it has certainly shifted to one end. That's the unfortunate part. So, based on the existing order, the working trends of organizations have to reset their ways. One important aspect. Now, some of the information that I have gathered or I have picked up is basically from some consultancies and their research work, such as Gartner, McKinsey, and others. They have come out with certain steps, certain things that are likely to happen, based on which this entire session is going to be carried out. How future workplace will be there. So these are all available in the public domain. I'm only gathering all of them and putting it in one sort of a module. McKinsey also conducted a survey, highlighted some major changes that the world will witness. They are all the global consultancies, Gartner, McKinsey, and so on and so forth. Even HBR, Harvard Business, also has come out. Everyone has come out with their own views. But what I observed was, most of the views given by these consultants have been more or less the same. They are on the same pattern. So that means the changes that we are discussing today are likely to be very much there. So we are going to discuss these aspects in our faculty development program today. Now, let us start the first aspect of resetting the work trend. That is the first point that we discussed. Increase in remote working will start. I think we have already started seeing. We need not go to the office. We need not spend the time of 3 hours or 4 hours or 1.5 hours on commuting. We can sit at home and work. Means what? The companies which have employed people have to tune to this remote working habit. The survey says almost 50% of the employees, as against 30 now. Most of the IT people, they have this remote working even before COVID. You know, I have a lot of my relatives working in IT sector. They said today it's work from home. Maybe sometimes 2 days in a week they say it is work from home. They log in and they start working. Now, this is going to increase. For IT sector, it is known. But for other sectors, we are seeing it. And we will continue to see this in future as well. So there is going to be almost a 20% increase in work from home, which is remote working. So most of the time, people will work from remote areas. That is from their residence. So employees have to become digitally educative, and they should be prepared for a new scenario. Now, one of the industries that has been doing extremely well today is the laptop industry. Laptops are not available. If you want to go and buy a laptop, it's not available because everyone wants laptop today. Because in most of the cases, it is remote working. An FDP is conducted through remote thing. Now we have, video conferencing of various heads of the states of the world talking. We have seen Narendra Modi talking to various heads of the states and so on the other side as well. So now, one hand, the employers have to make various changes. On the other hand, employees also have to get prepared for the new trend, especially in the service sector. Now, what is it going to lead to? There has to be definitely an expanded data collection for the employers. Now, I go to the office, I go and work there, the data is available, I am available there. But when I am working from my house, how do they know that I am working from the house, and how do they know that I am working only for that organization? I may even work for some other organization. So there is going to be an expanded data collection in the process. How will this be done? Non-traditional employees, I did say that, these IT employees, how they were monitored. IT employees were monitored from remote place for their employers. Whether so, login is one of the area. What is that they have done? How much time they were before the the computer? How much time they were working? What is the work output? All these things were even remotely handled earlier, even before the pandemic. So this is going to increase. So from 30 to 50%. This trend will be accelerated. That's exactly what it is. Earlier, only service sector, even non-traditional areas also are, and traditional areas also may start this kind of an activity. Technology will be mostly in demand now, because that is the way they can monitor their employees. There are various methodologies of monitoring the employees, whether the employees are performing or not. One is the output. Another one is, are they really there in the system and working? Instead of working in the office, are they working from the house? That is very, very important. Now, I have observed my grandson daily sitting before the computer between certain timings. Every class, they take the attendance. When they take the attendance, the teacher looks at the candidate, whether the student is there or not, then gives the attendance. Even yoga classes are conducted online. My wife undergoes yoga classes, so keeps the mobile in the front. Whatever is being instructed there, she is doing, instead of going there. So technology will be more in demand. The more will be the requirement of this, bandwidth, Wi-Fi facility. Earlier, I was using only 500 GB download per month. Now it has increased to 1,000. So I have to pay a little more there. Doesn't matter, since I am not going to the office, I can pay a little more here. Now, continuing of expanded data collection, how is it going to be done? How they are going to monitor? Virtual clocking in and out will be one of the areas. How much time the employee is using the computer is the second area. Employees' email or internal communication or chats. So there will be someone who will be monitoring these things, how much time they have communicated. What is the output, the productivity? Now, there may be interaction between the employer and the employee. So how they are going to engage themselves, employer and employee. What is their engagement? Especially in IT sector, even the employees, they even talk to the foreign companies which have employed them. So that is going to be one more thing. Well-being, to better understand employees' experience. This is another way. Now, how the employees are they well? Employer can immediately say that, are you not well? By seeing them on the camera. So these are all some of the various. Now, you must have already heard, President Trump said that those who are working from remote places need not stay in America. You can go to your own countries and you can work from there for America. Already we are working for America, not staying in America. Our IT sector, they are doing it. But now, even people who are working there, they can work from any of the remote places and then work for their country. Simple. So, these are all some of these steps, some of the ways where the employer can monitor the performance of the employee from a remote location. The third part is very, very important. This we also should know. I would like to share certain important aspects in this. Contingent worker expansion. So what is this contingent worker expansion? What is contingency? Contingency is in the case of necessity or emergency, we will use it. In simple word, what we use is part-time. So the part-time workers will increase rather than the regular workers. Now this can happen even in the case of educational institutions. As per AICTE norms, 20% of the faculties can be as adjunct faculties or guest faculties. Now, based on this situation, they may even increase it to 30 or 40%. So there won't be any regular employment, or the regular employment in colleges may also decrease. Because when the faculty is teaching from remote, this is the subject, you please teach, go ahead, finish. So I don't need to be employed on a regular scale, regular basis. I can be asked to come as an adjunct faculty. Even post-COVID, after everything comes to normalcy, because once the employer knows that they can use contingent worker, automatically their regular working force will come down, their regular expenditure will come down. And for contingent employee, because this person can work anywhere, he's a freelancer. This is going to be one of the major changes that is likely to take place in the workplace. Many workers have lost their jobs. I don't need to say, all of us know about it. Most of us have lost their jobs. Some of us have been asked to go. Some of us have been asked to, there was a layoff, given 3 months layoff or 6 months layoff by some industries. And after the layoff, one is not very sure whether they are going to take them back. So all these things will happen. Most of the institutions, including educational institutions, have taken up this particular step. So this pandemic has caused a lot of problems for the regular workers because they have lost. Even contract laborers also have lost. So what the organizations will in future do, they will try to reduce the regular workforce, where regular salaries have to be paid, monthly expenditure will be there. Based on the output, they can pick up, or based on the workload, based on the pressure of the work, they can start taking people on contingent basis. So any faculty, anyone can, register for working as a freelancer. So as a freelancer, there is no pressure, there is no force, you can work comfortably. Thereby what will happen is there will be flexibility in the workforce management, which is automatic, because regular employees are not there. Only contingent employees are more in number. So there is a flexibility both for the employees as well as for the employer. Again, there will be, a kind of a competition between them. Organization will be replacing full-time employees with contingent worker as a cost-saving measure, which I have already shared with you. Companies need to evaluate how performance management system has to be applied on these workers. Another important thing, after employing them, how performance management has to be evolved, because that HR has to take care of that. The leaders in the HR department has to work on how can they work on these people. What are the various methods and methodologies where they can evaluate the performance of these people. If I am able to see you in person, I can easily evaluate you. But when a person is in remote area, very difficult to evaluate. So you need to have new measures. So the workplace or the employers have to create a new kind of a system to evaluate the performance of the employees. Now, the fourth point in resetting the working trends is the expanded role of employers. Employers now have a much more larger role than what they were having earlier, post-COVID. So what could be those roles? How employers view the employee's experience. Because it is a new setup, it's a new concept already. So, okay, from employers' view, they do certain things which have been done in traditional way, but how the employee starts feeling. So this economic crisis also pushed this reduction of wages, reduced salary, reduced perks. All these things are happening. Now let me give a simple example. Now schools are sending the buses, school buses regularly to pick up the students from their respective residences. Now I heard somewhere, or I read it, I saw in one of the WhatsApp saying that the school has charged transport charges also in the fee structure. It was acceptable earlier. But where is the transport now? But still they are charging. Why they are charging? Because they have to maintain the workforce, that is the drivers. So there has been a lot of issue, and things are still going on. Some institutions have reduced it. Some institutions have waived it off. Some institutions are saying, no, we can't waive it because this COVID is not going to be a permanent thing. Maybe in another 3-4 months, things may be fine. Then the students need to come. So we need to have drivers. So see, things have started changing in a very big way. Now, personal factors rather will matter for organizations and employees. Because now everyone is worried about their health. Personal factor. Hygiene is one part of it. How is my health? How am I managing? How stressed I am? See, over the last so many years you have been working in one particular pattern, now suddenly you have changed it. So definitely it is going to have an impact on our, and this impact can be very, very drastic. Going to be a lot of pressure. So this is one thing which the employers also have to start thinking about the employees. Expanded role in their employees' financial, physical, and mental being. Now, I may be excused for a second. May be excused. So employers will be playing an expanded role. So naturally, employees are very, very important, especially important employees. So employees cannot ask, or maybe they may have a hesitation to ask. So in such an event, what will happen? The employers have to ask. See, employees are also equally important, so their well-being is important. Nowadays, employers are looking from that angle very much. Because in those days, I do know, they used to give, leave, especially maternity leave for 3 months. Now they have extended it to 6 months. And they are also saying that during this time, you can also do work from home. Extended thing also can work from home. So we continue the expanded role of employers. Support will include financial assistance based on the adjusted hours of operation. So some system may be evolved because of this adjusted hour of operation. Employers will promote physical health and improve the emotional well-being of the employees. Because earlier, when employer and employee used to interact directly, physically, personally, that was a different setup altogether. Now, when the employee is in a remote place and the employer is elsewhere, automatically the employer has to take care of the employee's well-being also. Now, even post-COVID, assume that we have started working. There is going to be a lot of change there because the safety, the well-being of the employees have to be the responsibility of the employer. Earlier, employees' well-being was in the hands of employees only. Supposing I am not keeping well, I am responsible. If some employee is not keeping well in an organization, the employer is equally responsible. Is he not properly maintaining the hygiene of the institution? Various factors, which we will see in the little later part of the session. So now, employer will play a much bigger role in the employee's well-being in duties. Fifth one, resetting of the working trends. That is the first topic that we are taking, and in that there are various aspects that we are discussing. Separation of skills and roles. It's a very interesting topic. It's a very interesting factor that has been observed by these consultants. One, companies will encourage employees to develop critical skills so that these employees will get multiple opportunities for their career development. Critical skills, developing critical skills. Now, these critical skills are specific to certain industries. Now, if an employee is doing fairly well, then it is the job of the employer not to lose him, but also permit him and allow him and encourage him to develop these critical skills so that it will be useful for the organization. Next role, the next level role. Because there, when you have been working there together, things are happening. But now, in the same this changed scenario, preparing employees for specific next role, next stage is also the role of an employer. So employer should be able to distinguish between the roles played by the employee as well as the specific skills that the employee has. So harness them. It's not that they are not doing it now, but now post-COVID, it will become much more important. Greater career development support in the areas of these critical roles. So critical skills, critical roles. A person who is doing extremely well has to be encouraged. So what will happen is people with these specific roles and specific skills, they will be more in demand in the years to come. General administrative roles, chalta hai. For example, let me talk about a hospital industry. I have observed many corporate hospitals, including the most reputed corporate hospital, which is very well known in Hyderabad, which are having branches. They have ensured that the best doctors are retained, others have been removed. Administrative staffs have been removed, retrenched, saying that from tomorrow you don't need to come. Because these people are not very critical for the hospital to function. Who are critical? Doctors, nursing staff, paramedics. The administrative staff, they started pruning down because if this fellow is not there, give additional work to the other fellow so that I can cut the cost. Here I cannot cut the cost. If he is a general physician, if there are 3 general physicians, 2 people have been asked to go, 1 people has been removed. This is one thing, critical skills, the roles. What is the role played by the administrator? Now, supposing if that administrative person is more on the marketing side and is getting patients, he is creating, the branding of the institute. He will be retained because they need him. But if I'm working in accounts department, I can get this work done from others also. I don't need to work. I don't need him. So they have been removed. This has happened in a couple of hospitals that I have seen in and around Hyderabad, some of the most reputed ones. So people who are having certain skills and roles, they will be given more prominence. They will be encouraged more. And people who are not having that kind of a skill or the role that they play, maybe they may be asked to quit. So it is essential for the employees, especially the youngsters, to develop certain critical skills and roles. Sometimes both of them will be merged. So a person may have very good skill as well as the administrative role also. So such people will also be mostly encouraged. Some will develop for roles, some they will be developed for specific roles, some will be for critical skills, and importance will be given to them. For some multitaskers, they will also be encouraged. Especially, doctors having management degree, engineers having management degree. Now they can be used in either of the areas. So develop those who have good skills in that area, and develop those who have who can play good roles, who have good capabilities in that area. Employees with varied, adaptive, and flexible roles will be encouraged, especially in the cross-functional areas, which I shared with you, multitasking. So that if not this, I can use him elsewhere. That kind of situation will also necessary. Now, I'll give an example. This is an example about my son-in-law. He was a radiologist. He joined one of the corporate hospital as a radiologist, of course, about 1.5 decades back. They observed that this guy, the management observed that this guy is having certain management qualities. He was able to handle the department. He was tuning, he was gelling well with the colleagues and getting the work done faster. So they decided that this person should be trained in management also. So they gave him a promotion, made him a head of the department of one particular unit, and where they started observing that this guy is able to do much more. Apart from the radiology part, that is the skill part, even the role part, that is head of the department, administration. And they promoted him, and rather they, encouraged him to do a 1-year PGPM course from Indian School of Business, ISB, Gachibowli. And after coming back, he became COO, Chief Operating Officer. I'm sharing this with all of you because multitasking. And now he has been encouraged for that particular role of administration. Then he became executive vice president. Getting international patients, going and meeting, going abroad and getting, getting doctors, recruiting doctors of various specialized areas. This is the role he is playing. No wonder he has the skill still. But now they have trained him more onto the management role. So now what will happen is the employers in future have to work on this area. They have to. So it is the job of the employer to identify the employees who have these kind of capabilities and then train them and get the best out of them. Organizations have to do this. Now, one more point on resetting the working trends. That is our first point in the agenda. Emergence of new top tier employees. Very interesting. Let's know what this is. Employees and prospective candidates would be judged by the way in which they treat their employees during the pandemic. Now, very interesting. Earlier, employers were judging the employees. Now it is going to be the other way around, that the employees will be judging the employers. Very interesting factor. Now, the pandemic has given a very good opportunity for the general person, employee, to understand the mood of the employer, how the employer is behaving. Now, Azim Premji's son, Rishad, who is now the chairman of Wipro, he made a statement yesterday. I have seen it. He said, come what may, we are not going to retrench any employee from our organization. Now, what kind of a moral booster this is for their employees who are working there? Do you think they will go away? And if Wipro wants to employ more people will love to work in such an organization, because even in the worst case scenario, they have not retrenched their employees. They kept with them. So in the best of the times, they kept with them. Even in the bad times, they are with them. That means it becomes a family. So how the employee is going to view it is not going to be the salary criteria alone. I am going to share this an interesting example. In case of my son-in-law as well, I'm telling you. Now, when he is going and discussing with people, they say, how many employees, how many doctors have your hospital retrenched during this period? How many employees were retrenched? Whether it is a doctor or an administrative employee also. It gives an indication what kind of an organization, what kind of management this is. See, in the best of the best times, they were making a lot of money. They were making profits. Without people, they can't make. Management alone cannot function. They need people. Whether he is a faculty or whether he is a regular worker, whether he is a doctor, whether an engineer, whether he is on the shop floor, they are needed. I made some profits. But now, during pandemic, because my cash flow has stopped or it is not at that level, so what will I do? I don't want you. So what kind of a view the employee will get about the employer? So this is what is going to play a very important role in the future. Employers who have retrenched their workforce will be ignored. वो नहीं चाहिए, तोबा तोबा, अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया तो हमको निकाल देंगे. What kind of threat that employee will have? Even if I perform, I will tell you, there are some institutions where the best performance have been also asked to go. Very unfortunate. So, it is the employee who is going to judge the employer. What kind of an organization is this? Imagine, sir, an youngster, a 35, 40 years guy who has some commitments, EMI he has to pay. And the employer suddenly says, because my cash flow is not there as per norms, I'm going to take you out. What will happen to that guy? So tomorrow, he is definitely going to badmouth this organization. So organizers, especially the management and the employers, have to keep this in mind in future. If they want to get the best of the best hands, they just have to take it. So at least it is necessary for the management and the employer to at least have 1 year working capital, because we don't know what kind of a situation is going to come in future. So that the employee will be given reasonable time to take care of himself. At least 3 to 4 months working capital if I don't have, and I retrench the people from the next day. How is it possible? So employer will have to wise think, and employee will think more than that, whether to join a company or not. So the company is going to be at a loss because they are not going to get the best of the best hands when they have performed badly and they have treated badly their employees. See, one very interesting factor it comes. मुझे पैसा कम दो, doesn't matter. Even if I get less money, it doesn't matter. But let me have the stability. There are organizations which have given lakhs and lakhs of rupees the best of the time. And in the worst of the time, they said, please get up. Because you are the high wage island for me. I am paying very high salary to you. There are educational institutions have removed people who have been professors. Even at a reduced cost, because the employees will understand that this is something which is an extraordinary situation. So the employer is taking care of me. So come what may, even in the bad times, even if I don't get, I get less than what I get, even one third of what I get normally, I will continue in this organization. I'll be loyal to this organization. That loyalty will go away now, because this is a testing time. I hope you will all agree with me. Employees will judge by how the employer supported the employees despite implementing the cost saving measures. This is the time when cost saving measures have to be done. No doubt about it. Every employer must and should understand one thing, that employees are their strength. Without those employees, you cannot get the output. You are there because of them. They are there because of you. It's a family. So that culture has to be developed. In future, this is what is going to be the main thing. Employees, even in the worst case scenario, they retained me, though they paid less. Somehow I managed, but now I am with them. That kind of an affinity will go, sir. The employers have to at least maintain 1 year of working capital, come what may. Even in the worst case scenario, I am going to maintain you guys, because when I was in very good time, I made money. When I am in bad time, I must have it. Personal financial planning is one aspect. Even the employer has to look into the financial planning of his organization. If he fails, he is not fit to be an employer. Those companies will not survive for a long time. And I'm sure you will all be with me in this area. Now we come to the second topic, integrated facility management. This is something very, very new. And it's not picking up very much. It is picking up, and it's going to be the order of the day in future. So what is this? Health and wellness will assume greater significance in times to come. I've just read one interesting factor. Indian Railways has now come out with a new coach called COVID-19 coach. People can travel comfortably, and there is all that necessary hygiene that is being retained in that coach. ICF is coming out. Kapurthala factory is coming out with some new coaches, or existing coaches are being converted into post-COVID-19 coaches, where necessary things are taken to ensure that the person reaches his destination safely without contacting COVID, even if the COVID persists. So this will become a must. Earlier, nobody bothered about the workplace well-being. The workplace well-being is going to be a very important area now in future. Business will ensure that the employees feel safe and protected in their workplace. You all will agree. How am I going to be protected? Is there going to be a well-ventilated area? Because that is what everyone says. You should not be in a closed room. You should not be in an air-conditioned room. Will there be a cross ventilation? Is there going to be a distance of at least 6 feet or 7 feet between me and my colleague? Are my tables gaily clean? One thing is, as an employee, I am taking the necessary precautions. But what about the employer? Is he taking necessary precautions? That is the topic of integrated facility management. That is going to be the order of the day. Some cost will be incurred for this. Refurbishing the workplace is necessary. Social distancing norms, high hygienic standards will be the order of the day. So your organization has to take care of that. Now employers have to spend some amount in redesigning this. Now I'll tell you, the second richest temple in the world is the great Lord Venkateshwara at Tirupati. At least 50 to 60,000 pilgrims daily go. I think people who are regularly visitors of Tirumala, I don't need to tell. They know both Tirupati as well as Tirumala. As people who go to Tirumala come back to Tiruchanur and see the goddess Padmavati. There is a heavy rush. Now, I have seen some of the videos that I've been seeing, how they are maintaining that social distancing and things like that in Tirumala. Number of pilgrims have been reduced drastically to 6 or 8,000 per day. The minimum distance of 6 feet is maintained between one pilgrim to another pilgrim. And there is a lot of sanitization work going on in the queue. So when you are passing through that, some, effervescence come. Some kind of sanitization is taking place. So what will happen is, as a pilgrim, I will be more comfortable. I will say, okay, fine. God has given me all the necessary safety there. Hygienic standards. Tirumala is known for hygienic standards. I am not saying no, but now it is extra. So some costs have to be incurred for that. That has to be taken. So there has to be a holistic solution to keep the workplace properly hygienic. So there should be some kind of a facility management that we should come for this holistic management to handle these kinds of things. So a new kind of an industry is going to come, and people will be working in this industry. That is integrated facility management, not just cleaning. There's something much more than that. As I gave it a shared with you. So there will be an opportunity, more and more opportunity in this particular field. Companies which can introduce the best practices coupled with technology will thrive. Even if the code is, because there are many people who say, even WHO says that COVID is not going to vanish away. It will stay for a couple of years. You have to bear with it, because it has already penetrated our wall. It has gone inside us. There is also a statement saying that almost about 30% of the Indians have got COVID already there, but they have been able to come out because there is already an antibody in them. I read one interesting article. So what will happen is, COVID is going to be an order of the day, and we have to live with it. So how best we protect ourselves is what is important. So what the organizations are going to do for that, that is what is called integrated facility management. At the same time, it has to be priced competitively. So competitive pricing, maintaining a holistic, healthy environment in organization will become the order of the day in future. So what are the ways? What are the various methodologies and ways that this can be done? So one is make all touch points contactless. So no use of hand, etc. The thermal energy. So thanks to Einstein, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for photoelectric effect. The moment you start going near there, your doors will open. Even lift doors will open the moment you go there. You don't need to touch the buttons, etc. These things will come. Digital entry will replace biometric system, because the moment it is biometric, you have to use your finger, thumbnail. That will slowly vanish. And the digital entry. So your face, it will read your face and it will say that yes, you are there. That is already there. That become more prominent. Sensor-based washrooms can be implemented. Water, the regular water, already you go and you go to a washroom and come out, already sensor-based is there. You don't need to open the tap and the water to flush out. Already sensor-based is there, but that will become more prominent. Cleaning, replenishing, hand wash, everything without any touch point will be introduced. So touch points will be slowly getting. Though of course there is a research saying that COVID, just because you touch a surface, COVID will not get. It's mostly because of something else. But still, a person who is contacted with COVID, if he touches the surface, they also say that it stays for some time. So why should we touch? So every area should be touchless. Now, slide sorter is there, so I can just use one particular thing and I can move in. In future, I don't need to even move in. I can say something or some kind of an action, or maybe there is a button where I take my hand, it will go to the next slide. So I have not touched it. So these kind of technologies will be developed. Sensors will also ensure need-based water flow, thumb drying, hand drying. Even paper napkins may come the moment you enter there, you go there, it will just fly and come in, just hold like this, the napkin will come, towel dispensers will have. Most of them will become automatic. Your life will become more and more automatic. There was a very wonderful film in once upon a time, that is Charles Chaplin, Modern Times. One machine comes and feeds him. Another machine comes and puts some water in his mouth. The third machine comes and wipes his, pours some little water. The fourth unit, machine will come, robot will come, wipe his face. So as the speeds increases, this fellow will struggle. You can see that film, Modern Times, Charles Chaplin's film. Another area is cafeteria. So there will be in future digital ordering. You don't need to go there, sit and eat and come. Box meals, virtual card payments, all these changes. Already so many things are already coming. But one thing is, it is going to be more intense in future. Workplace will be another major area. So who is going to do this? So a new industry will start. They will be having good demand across the world. Frequent cleaning in general will be a demand, will be in demand. Frequent cleaning. Earlier, what happens? Morning that, when you go and sit in an office, morning one lady will come, that sweeper will come and just, clean the desk and go away. Now what will happen? Use sanitizer and they have to clean not once, maybe 4 or 5 times. We don't know. So some kind of a mechanical device may come where all the tables will be cleaned and it will go away. But okay. Quality of air is another important area. So IVAC systems will be introduced, disinfectants will be used, ultraviolet technology will be used. So these are all the new areas that are going to take importance over the existing setup. Facial recognition thermal cameras will be installed. We are already seeing that, and it is going to become order of the day. And it will also detect when you have an abnormal temperature or anything. Body scanner may be there. It may even scan, like you have no CT scan or your MRI. Just go and stand before that machine. It will scan and say that whether you have COVID or not. If you don't have a COVID, go inside. Otherwise, if you have a COVID, take you elsewhere. So these kind of facilities, it is highly, probabilities are there. Human-centric workplace through wellness certification will be introduced. So there will be a new certification like AICTE, NAC, NBA certification, AIU certification. Now you will have a new certification called wellness certification. That will be very, very important. You will not get AICTE recognition unless you have wellness certification. That may be the order of the day. You may not get NBA without this certification. That means your organization has to maintain that. Sanitation will become very, very important. But I said, Indian Railways has introduced hand-free amenities. So you don't need to touch. There's something called plasma air purification has also come. I've seen it recently in the East. That's going to be the order of the day. So these kinds of things, not only in the office, maybe even in the residence, even in the big, big apartments, this may become the order of the day. Like, pest control. Then you will have plasma air purifiers. You may have something else. So many things can come. There are a lot of opportunities for this kind of industry. So innovation is necessary. So if people don't mind paying little more money. If you have good business, then the cost also comes down. So this is likely to take place in future. The third one, the challenges to regain the momentum. There's the third topic that we are going on touch. We have already touched 2 topics: integrated management and the What is this? Changes and challenges to regain the moment. This is a very, very difficult one. Because of the lockdown, for almost about 2 months, major industries across the country have suffered very badly. The GDP has come down. The GST collections have come down. Many industries have suffered because once they suffer, to regain becomes very, very difficult. How to regain and come back to the original state? Last month, I was so happy, surprised, and I was very happy rather that the GST collection has jumped up and it has touched almost pre-COVID days, almost 96,000 crores last month. We don't know how it's going to be this month. That means industries have started, unlocking. Unlock 1 has helped the country to get back to that kind of, growth. The 96,000 crores GST collection, normally about 1 to 1,10,000 crores will be in the normal times. We have come almost to about 96,000 crores, nearing 1 lakh crores GST collection. It's an indication that yes, the economy is coming back, but it can be only to certain industries, but all industries we don't know, especially MSMEs. They are suffering because it is very difficult to gain that momentum. Most organizations, massive challenges to come back. So to raise back to the original level, that momentum, it is going to take place. Now, we can make a comparison with the past downtrends and now. 2008-9, there was a financial collapse. Many industries closed. In fact, in America, they said every day one bank was closing. And Americans have a different kind of banking system. We have branch banking where, we may have 100 branches, 1,000 branches, 2,000, 3,000 branches of a bank. But there it is 1 branch or 2 branches. So it is a small system, banking system. So every day one bank was closed. The largest investment banker, Lehman Brothers, vanished. If you put all the banks of India together and all the financial services, even that goes pale in comparison to Lehman Brothers, and that collapsed. There's this kind of situation that was there in 2008, but this time it may even be serious. Companies that pursued acquisition and disinvestments in structure, they were able to come up. So what is that they have done? They have disinvested certain areas which are not in their focus so that someone buys, use the cash flow for improving, or even acquiring certain industries and certain companies which have been more in tune to this company. So acquisitions and disinvestments also will be the order of the day in future. Disinvest those who are not making profits and acquire those which are making profits. Some MSME wants to sell it away, even a large borrower will be buying it. 1997, they say Thai baht crisis, or we call it as Asian financial crisis. The dot-com bubble of 2000 and then the 2008-9 are some of the examples. Now, 2000 dot-com bubble, have all the IT companies closed because of this dot-com bubble? Because there were so many, fake companies coming up in 2000 because that was a aura. Everyone want IT. So every company, there are so many companies. In a small room, you start an IT company. So there was a dot-com bubble. Many IT companies closed. Thousands and thousands. That's what we call as dot-com bubble. Does that mean that all the IT companies have been closed? No. Those companies which are viable, they started expanding. 2008 and 9. Again, so many new options and opportunities have come. So, this is one classic example how people were able to come back to the momentum. Resilience. They really did well. Those companies which have disposed and you have taken up new companies, acquired, they have performed well. So that could be the order of the day in future. to regain the momentum. But it's a challenge. Because as I already said to you, the challenge then was different. The challenge now is different. It's going to be much more steeper. Because everything has come to a knot. There, the issue was, there was some, I used to always use the term when greed overtakes need. Now, even need is now in problem today. So, the problem is different this time. And so, the momentum to come back to that level also is going to be different. It is going to be more steeper. So, the world will be seeing a lot of changes in a couple of years. Next to 2-3 years, things are going to be entirely different. We don't know what's going to happen. But then those who are resilient will definitely stand together. Many organizations have to have a strategic approach. There are various strategies, management strategies are various, disinvesting, acquiring new, going into the new field which are more and more prosperous and more perspectives are very good. So such a kind of a thing can help these institutions to really pick up and come back. Companies which are having good capital, even recently also, Jio has acquired so many companies. Reliance has been acquiring so many companies. The companies who have cash-rich companies, who have a strategy of mergers and acquisitions, who take proper steps, are definitely going to be the top. So you need to have a well-capitalized companies. Banks, those banks which have become Basel III compliant are going to stay because they are well capitalized. Those banks whose capital are very poor, they cannot survive. So capital is very, very important. Your investment is very, very important. The company which is quite strong in capital and less in borrowings will definitely thrive. India is the main factor. So if you are strong in finance, if you are having sufficient backing, yes, you are going to see. That's what I also said. Every institution which are working for the last couple of years, take some money out and keep it separately. Call it a buffer capital, like what we call in Basel III. This buffer capital will be used at the time when you are in difficulty. Take that money out. I always used to give a very interesting example. Cyclic, counter-cycle buffer, capital buffer. Very, very interesting. Now, for example, the interesting part I wanted to share with you. Now, tomatoes are now sold at 50 rupees a kg. It's not available. And about 25 to 30 days back, a month back, I used to get tomatoes for 10 rupees a kg. Now it is 50 rupees a kg. Maybe it may even go up. We have seen on onions. Now, onions you get 10 kgs for 100 rupees. Now, as a normal man, let us start thinking. We have to assume that tomatoes average price is only 20 rupees a kg. So when it is 10 rupees a kg, save that 10 rupees, thinking that you have paid 20 rupees today. So this is a buffer which can be used when the price is going to 30, 40 and 50. It's nothing new. See, there is a famous saying, there is an old song in Telugu, which I will explain you in English as well. Unnanadu telivi kaligi podupu cheyara, leni nadu odalu vanchi koodabettara. When everything is going good, try to save. What we call in financial planning as nest egg. It's a nest egg. Keep on putting the money there. Even in the bad times, work more, put more efforts and still save. Because when you are not able to work in future, when you are going to be in a very bad state, this will come to you first. So, to have a strong financial background, savings is essential. Save 30% minimum per month is the money that we need to save, so that this money will come for us as a support when the situation is not good. And everything is not going to be the same. The world itself is sinusoidal. up and down. Ups and downs will be there. Anything which goes up has to come down. Anything which has come down has to go up. There's no choice. It's the nature. So try to maintain. It is not only for the institutions, even for house. There is not much of a difference between a personal financial planning and a corporate financial planning. There it is in large area, large amount. Here it is in small amount. Mergers and acquisitions will be also having a positive way. There will be more and more M&A. The government is also prompting more and more Make in India initiatives so that many companies will come Make in India, come to our country. We have seen Apple is going to shift from China to India. Google is going to invest $10 billion. That's what the news came recently. So India is going to be perhaps most sort of country in due course. And we should tune ourselves to that. Buyers will become more assertive. Companies and investors that emerge strongly from the crisis will look to take advantage of the opportunistic acquisitions. There may be many MSMEs which may not perform well. There may be many MSMEs which may try to capture the market now. Now India, which has been regularly importing the raw material for manufacturing of formulations, pharmaceutical formulation. Now India says that no, why should we depend on you? We are going to manufacture. Why can't we? And we start manufacturing. It's an MSME job. Except few companies, most of them are in the MSME sector. So many MSME people can come together, use their entrepreneurship skill and start manufacturing these things. Large companies may have a tie-up with you. Pharma companies may have a tie-up with these MSMEs which are manufacturing the raw material. They may have a tie-up. They may even customize their requirement and they can manufacture. Because now we are going to stop. Not only we, the entire world is going to do this. Stop imports of this API from China. So this is one opportunity and advantage for the pharma companies. So MSMEs can work on this. Have a strategic tie-up with large scale companies. You make money, you make good money. So many youngsters who have made money, started a small company. Now this is not a new thing. There are two youngsters who went to Facebook. I asked for the job. That man said, sorry, these people have started WhatsApp. Then immediately that fellow picked it up and paid $900 million. So ideas. So strategic, tie-ups can really help the small companies to grow. And so the promoters have to look on those lines, opportunities. Some will become weaker. They may have to sell. They may have to dispose it off so that whatever cash they come, they can survive. But then if you are strategically strong enough to pick it up, yes, you have an opportunity. Smaller listed companies may take the exit route. Life science, healthcare, technology will be most active. They will take much more. Yesterday, Kiran Muzumdar Shah of Biocon said that they have come out with the medicine. The entire treatment costs 36,000 rupees per patient for COVID when he is in the little serious stage. So medicine will go as a hot cake. But. So these areas, but there are automobile industry, real estate. These industries have to wait for some time to pick up. So they should have the capability to withstand. Like Tata Motors can withstand, Mahindras can withstand. Smaller fellows may have to vanish. So they have to have a strategic, they have to look into strategically as to how they can survive or how better they can dispose of. Because 2-3 years is though it is a near term, I would say medium term, still it is difficult for MSMEs to survive. People who manufacture these components for the larger automobile industries. All of us know the turmoil in China is going to be the greatest opportunity for India. So, as I said already, Apple is reallocating to India. They are going to invest a lot. Foxconn is going to come to India. So that is going to be a future. Government is doing all that, all sorts of things, all sorts of support. Giving a red carpet, of course, sans China, other than China. So that they can expand their market share. Everybody is looking for this opportunity. So challenge will be converted into an opportunity. So how we are able to tap this to our benefit depends upon our capability. So mergers and acquisitions can take place in any of these forums. There can be a good consolidation amongst certain sectors within that sector. Consolidation can also help. I think telecom consolidation can take place. So there are companies which have not been able to perform well, they will vanish. There may be 2-3 top companies in telecom industry, which is already happening. Jo Jeeta wo Sikandar. So you have the capabilities, yes, you will definitely be successful. Disinvestment, carving out a particular portion of the business. Some of the regional companies acquisition can also do a big way, because if somebody is ready to sell it away, you better take it out. Also, you can have alliances and partnerships. These are the ways where mergers and acquisitions will be the order of the day in future post-COVID. So companies who have the wherewithal and who have the money with them, who have every capability, they will definitely thrive and come up. They will be becoming more larger. We can expect Mukesh Ambani. See, today this TikTok, TikToks and all these kinds of apps have been banned. There will be so many young entrepreneurs in India who have a lot of capabilities. They can come up with their own apps, and they can, not only in India, but they can go across the world. Unified payment solution. Yes, UPI. One of the thing is that RuPay cards are also been going elsewhere in other parts of the country, other parts of the world. So technology, yes, you have the good technological capabilities, your growth is going to be very good. Startups may become more receptive to acquisitions, sale of strategic stakes, and joint ventures. So startups can join with big ones. Now today, you cannot say that I am going to be something separate. I want everything for myself. No, you have to work strategically. You have to take up alliances. Whether it is an educational institution, whether it is an industry, IT sector, you have to tie up strategically. Then only you will survive. One can survive. One industry will survive. There are 4 or 5 small B schools. They can join together strategically and work. They can have alliances with them. There are 4 or 5 industries which are manufacturing pharmaceutical formulations. Join together, work in a larger scale. Now we have seen so many banks are getting merged, so that these banks will not even collapse in the worst of the times. If it is a smaller bank, they may vanish. But then if you have strategic alliances, if you are having mergers, acquisitions, you stand better chance to survive in scenario like this. And this is not going to be the one-off thing. Within 10 years, 2007-8 problem, now we have come to 2019 problem. We don't know what is the kind of problem that may come in 2029 or 30. So we should be ready to face such an issue, because the world is in a turmoil. Axis is becoming very, very strong. China, Iran, Pakistan, and things like that. Turkey. The other side is becoming secondary. We don't know. There may be a war. World War III. We don't know. Can be devastating. So we should be able to face that. Industry should be able to face that. So we can expect. So get ready. Get ready for the worst. Fine. Prepare yourself to face that consequences. The fourth area is impact on our personal and professional lives, because all these changes have come up. So it is definitely going to have some kind of impact on our personal lives. But wait, one of the most significant changes, because we have not seen in 2007-8, it did not not impact India. It impacted US and other countries. But that financial crisis did not have much of an impact on India, because you always used to say, I used to say a word, that the regulators are ahead of innovators. Because excessive innovation has created this bubble, housing loan bubble. As you said, no, these derivatives, they used to have these derivatives, which were the weapons of mass destruction as said by Warren Buffett. Unfortunately, it has come in our period. 100 years back, situation was different. That time, I understand that some statistics said that almost 50 crore population was affected by that pandemic 100 years back, and almost 10 crore people vanished because of the improvement in the education and the health sector, and more technology in place. We have been able to somehow avoid that kind of a catastrophe. But almost 1 crore people have been affected across the globe. We are going to touch 10 lakhs very soon, maybe in 2-3 days, because our number is also going up. So we need to get ready for that. So these are the things which are going to put a lot of stress on us. Healthcare, natural resources, water, emergency service, these are the areas where there is going to be a lot of demand. So companies which are more and more concentrating on these kinds of industries will definitely thrive, because there is going to be a demand for this. Your integrated services, that also is going to be a part of it. New ways of living and working will emerge as soon as fear subsides. We have to get used to it. We have to have a new kind of a way. Now, I was casually telling that when you drive motorcycle, you have a helmet. Now you will have a helmet, a kind of a helmet. Even without driving, or even if you walk, you will have a headgear. The man from Mars. Kind of a thing that we are living in Earth, as if we are living aliens. If you go to moon, you have to wear all those things. Maybe a day may come in Earth also. If you have to survive, you have to, you don't know. We need to start now, reinvent our lives, our organization. So there has to be a continuous churning out of things that are happening. We have to reinvent. There is no choice. And try to, we have to survive. We are, we have the sixth sense to survive. If we have to survive, we have to modify ourselves. Maybe initial stages there may be a lot of problems, but over a period of time we will be able to come out. A new form of globalization will take place. Interdependence based on humanity, not based on money. Now slowly money may also get its value down, because I am ready to give you 1 crore of rupees. You go and work in an organization where there is a lot of COVID. Will you do that? Money may not play important, because when it comes to life, life becomes more precious than. If you are able to live, you can definitely make that money. But when you are not there, what is the use of that money? So there will be more humanity-oriented things will happen. Collective action will take. Businesses also will look in those angles. How best they can take care of their employees, how can they take care of themselves, how they can take care of the business also. So one way, it's going to be good. Let us look from the positive fact. Because they were telling, when this COVID and lockdown took place, people from Punjab, Chandigarh were able to see Himalayas. They said nature is rebooting because the pollution has come down. Water is very clean. Water in Ganges, water in Jamuna, water in Ganga, everywhere, everything is clean. Pollution has come down. Maybe nature has taught us that this is necessary. So we have to take care of this aspect. So our personal lives will have to get tuned. Digital transformation will be much more in place. It will be the top priority. So those companies which are aiding for digital transformation will thrive in the next couple of years. so that business, if my business has to continue, I need people to come and work. I have to transfer myself so that my productivity can be improved. I can continue the business and I can make money. New business models, being competitive in the business world, these areas will have an impact on our personal life. How to engage and retain the talent. So people have to now start acquiring more and more talent. People management programs will become more and more HR. I always used to call. Is it the Department of Human Resources or it is HRD? Human Resource Department or Human Resource Development Department, HRDD. Earlier it was my colleague, HR professor, Pavan may agree with me. Mental health and well-being of the employees will be a very, very important area for the companies. Supply chain with fragmented further with technological platforms will be able to integrate them. So supply chain management also will change. Not going to be what it is now. Ways to engage the customers, manage inventories, optimizing the production, distribution, logistic management. All these the areas in any management, any company is going to have some kind of a change. So when there is a change in these things, it is definitely going to have our professional life changes. One is personal life, hygiene, making some good money. At the same time, professional life also will change. Remote working will continue, and there will be shifting pattern. Now, where the interesting thing is coming in the educational sector. In the educational sector, something very interesting is coming. Our management has been contemplating that once the students start coming, they should have, instead of 2 shifts, all the 60 students in a class, it will be only 30 students in a class. Every alternate chair will have a student. Then what will happen? One day, you should have sufficient, place to accommodate all the students. That may be difficult. You need so many faculties. So what to do? So alternate day, first year and second year. So the first year students on the second day will be mostly taught, they mostly will go digital. And that's how it is going to change. So students will have a combination of personal availability as well as digital learning. So personal learning and digital learning is going to be the order of the day. That's at least, till things are back into normal and you have sufficient vaccines which have been proved to support the human beings from this pandemic. New norms will be established, redefining work life, personal life boundary. All these things are going to change. We don't know what's likely to happen, but changes are inevitable. Overhead costs will be reduced by unnecessarily traveling. So what will happen is virtual interaction like what we are doing. I'm talking now, you are listening to me. Later, a day will come when you will have technology where we will be talking to each other. Instead of directly facing each other, we will talk. Technology is going to improve and it's going to be much more strong. Face-to-face meetings will be replaced by virtual interactions. Already is happening. Because I never heard of the term called webinar. Now webinar is very popular. Faculty development programs through virtual, I am in Hyderabad, I am sitting here and you're all there. People from across the world can come and interact and talk. Cost of the commercial real estate will fall. Though they have to look for some other opportunities, how best they can use those places. Urban transformation will take place. Metros may come down, the dependence on the metros, the pressure of working in the metros. Population getting already, put in one metro is going to be. If I am from a, remote place, if I am from another place and I cannot commute daily, I am staying in a metro. because my office is here. Now, if I can work from that place, why should I come? So the rental, the infrastructure may have an impact here. Corporate employees will slowly diminish, complexes will diminish. Malls may have to look for some other ways to fill up their places. You need more space now because of the distancing. So these things can happen at least in the near term of 2 to 3 years. Technology will be there. Do not adapt. If organizations fail to adapt, they are going to be in trouble. The last one is the 5 industries that will be setting new trends post-COVID. What are they? Workspace industry. We have already discussed in length about workspace industry. So large buildings, large office complexes, multi-storied buildings. Now I have recently seen there are so many huge multi-skyscrapers, 300 stories, 200 stories, 150 stories in China getting vacated and vacant. They call it ghost cities now. Not very, very far away that can happen in India also. Yes. What will I do? When I have a lot of IT sector here, I have started purchasing some 1 or 2 flats and I am getting very good rent. Tomorrow, if they have to work in from the remote place, there is no need for this place. So the landlords have to look for some other alternative, how best they can use that. Second is educational industry. It's our industry. EduTech platforms will bloom. Your Byju's, they are doing very well. Online teaching will continue for some more time to come. So faculties have to equip themselves to handle this kind of a situation. So we need to be, we need to equip ourselves how to come out of this situation and how to handle it properly so that we can, even teachers, school teachers are doing this. They have learned. They've been asked to learn. That's what I said. No, the laptop is becoming very, very precious today. There is a premium of 5 to 10,000 rupees on a laptop because everyone is buying laptops. Even the components, the laptop goes off. To get the components and repair it also is becoming difficult now because the components are not available. So one has to, teachers have to train and equip themselves to handle virtual sessions. It should be as impactful and as effective as what we are doing it in person. Especially B school faculties because they are more into, practical orientation. How are they going to bring practical orientation in the virtual education? That is one thing which will be very, very important. Engineering, lot of things are done in the laboratory. How are they going to bring that laboratory through virtual medium is a very big challenge. The education industry is going to change. It is going to face certain challenges, and those institutions which are prepared for this change, faculty is prepared for this change, they will thrive. Third one is entertainment industry. No cinemas. What will they do? So you have digital platform. Already once the TV came, there has been a downside. Now this Netflix, Amazon Fire Sticks, I can see any film I want. So if I have a huge home theater, I can do it from my house. I can see and enjoy it. So these changes are going to come. And the actors who are said that they are only for the large screen, big screen, taking crores of rupees as remuneration for one cinema. Whether it is Amir Khan, this Khan, that Khan, Chiranjeevi or Kamala Hassan, or everyone has to slowly come to that industry will change. Near term, at least 2 to 3 years to come. Of course, there are certain things that are already happening, but this industry is going to have some impact. Hospitality industry, more home deliveries, even 5 stars are going to deliver from home. Even bandiwalas, you have delivery boys, you have so many companies, Zomatos and Swiggies, they will grow. Another industry is self-care industry. Self-care industry, people will start caring themselves instead of going to the luxurious parlors. Ghar mein hi karo. Then another industry will be the health diet, mind management, how to work on that. Online yoga will thrive. In fact, my wife undergoes yoga training online. The teacher does there, the participants do in their respective houses. The technology has brought it. So these things, self-care industry is also likely to make a large impact on the lives. So now we are almost coming to the end of the session. I would like to conclude the 5 points that we have discussed already. So forced adaptation of digitalization. All of us have to become digital. New habits will create opportunities. New industries will come up. Personal hygiene, very, very important. More prominence will be given to this. Industries such as travel, tourism, real estate, definitely in the near term is going to take a hit. But if they also can tune themselves, as I said, no, COVID coach in the Indian Railways, so COVID buses can come, COVID cars, where it will prevent COVID. Even if a person is having COVID, it will be able to identify and say, sorry, sir, you have COVID, please come later. And those who are traveling the car will also be comfortable because they will not catch COVID. These kind of things will have to change. Companies have to quickly adapt to the new norms for survival post-COVID. And I really thank all of you, my colleague faculties, for listening to me for this an hour and a half, but I ensure that my session is worked for that only. Hope you all enjoyed the session as I enjoyed as well. And I thank Gates College for organizing this FDP. It has also given me a lot of opportunity to learn more. Because when I was asked to take up this topic, I worked on this. It has improved my knowledge. So when I'm sharing it, I'm also learning. A lot of learning has taken place for me. When I conducted a similar program for pharmaceutical college students, post-COVID, how is the pharma industry going to perform? And it also helped me a lot to gain a lot of inside knowledge. I thank you once again, and I am leaving it to Mr. Ismail and his colleagues to take over. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your informative speech. And first of all, I would like to thank you for accepting our invitation in spite of your busy schedule and in spite of the pandemic situation because of your age and all. Really, I should appreciate you. And your words have given me a lot of strength, sir, because the very first call, you accepted our invitation and you are here with us. On behalf of all the faculty members and the participants, I would like to thank you, sir. And notable among them, we got participants from Adamawa State University, Nigeria, and one participant from Bali, Indonesia. And there was overwhelming response throughout the country from 18 states and other 8 countries. And some are there on YouTube and some are there on Zoom. So because of short span of time, I will not be in a position to convey the things. Sir, I will be sending you the screenshots and other things. One thing, sir, that is, as of now, we have 514 viewers going on, yes. And with your permission, sir, shall I take up the question which was posted?
Please.
Sir,
Please.
there was one question by Aparna Kovur. She asked that, is there any difference between contingent worker and a temporary worker? If so, what is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Aparna
Now,
Kovur.
yeah.
Yes.
In practical terms, I don't find much of a difference. But one thing is certain, contingent worker, normally when we talk about this contingent worker comes only when there is a necessity. Now, for example, I will talk about the faculty educational system. We call them as adjunct faculty or visiting faculty. Now, if you put it in a very simpler term like temporary worker, when we talk about contingent employees, they are slightly higher. Now, in the sense, they will be regularly hired because of their capabilities. When we talk about temporary workers, they are mostly on the shop floor or at the lower level. So for them, a lot of people will be coming daily. They will be picking few from few here. The one who comes in the first will be taken up. The one who comes later may not be getting the chance. He has to go to some other. But when it comes to contingent workers, there will be a regular tie-up kind of a thing. So we will be calling you when we require it. It's a kind of, in educational system, we can call this as adjunct faculty or visiting faculty. Yes, Ismail.
Okay, sir. That's one question. And another question here is how the future of younger generation, sir. It is a question because everybody was in doubt what to be done, what not to be done, and what things we should learn to adopt to this changing scenario. So, youngsters, what advice you would like to give to the youngsters? Because many of our youngsters are the future citizens who is going to take up the industry is now in a pipeline. They are in held up with the academic universities and everything, and companies are not considering them. So, what kind of advice you would like to give to these people to equip themselves to face this kind of changing situation post COVID?
Now, there are two things that we can look into. I mean, from my personal point of view. One is you are going to join a job, or you can be an entrepreneur. Now, people who have reasonable good amount, it's not that an entrepreneur should have lots and lots of amount. You can start something on your own. It is not that the jobs are going to vanish. Jobs are going to pick up. Most probably from next June or July. This academic year, there has been some, issues. Even those who got job, they have been asked to wait. And let us also be I am very positive that situation is not going to be permanent. Many countries have started coming with their vaccines so that we can face the situation. And many people who have removed employees, they have to start again re-employing them because it will come back to the original normal level. It will take time. Next to 1 to 2 years is going to be a very torrid time, especially students who are studying in the first year and second year of their engineering or graduation. This is the best time for them to equip themselves. More and more, if they are multitasking, acquire some additional qualification through online. This can help you. See, engineer need not be an engineer. He can acquire some additional qualifications on online. Even faculties are acquiring. Harvard University is offering some online courses. It will be a little costly. There are some institutions which are giving at a very low price, online coaching, online certification programs. Try to acquire them more. And when you are acquiring them, don't acquire for the sake of acquiring them. Learn. Understand that. Now, you see, we never had this kind of an opportunity when we are young. Now, this is an opportunity. I would say this is an opportunity because you are able to analyze much better. The technology is much better today. And you are able to get the information very fast. Which industry is doing well, which is going to be very good. So you have to be proactive rather than reactive. So there will be 10 to 15% of students who may be more and more complacent, but those who want to thrive have to become multitasking, acquire more and more knowledge, qualification and skills, and get ready for the situation. This is not going to be permanent. Let us be very, very sure this is not going to be permanent. Even after the Second World War, the world came up very fast. There has been very fast growth. Even after the First World War, it was very fast. Even after the, the Great Depression of 1930s, there has been tremendous growth. So, nature provides us the way to grow. God provides us the way. There is a way. You have faced this situation, there is a way. How best you are going to avail that opportunity and grow is in your hands. So, even faculties, let me tell you, that become multitasking, try to, take up some other, try to create a network amongst yourself. If you are good in one particular subject, like in, for example, business analytics, there may be a requirement of business analytics somewhere as a part-time. Go there. The earlier question was temporary. I would say part-time. Instead of calling it temporary, call it part-time. For, contingent worker is nothing but part-time worker. So you can take up that kind of an activity and then you can thrive and go up. So these are all the things. So the only thing, in fact, what Ismail said himself is correct, that you need to upgrade yourself, update yourself, and ready to face the challenges. Yes, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir, for giving such a beautiful answer. To all the, it is a source of inspiration for the youngsters also, and so nice of you. And for
Nice to see you also after a long time in the
yes, sir,
camera.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, so because all it's a virtual thing happening, so it is a new experience for us also. And one other question, sir,
Sure.
from one of our faculties, and by name Babjan, sir, he asked, sir, sir, what about the social benefits? That is changing phase of social benefits. And what about the golden shake hand part? And quality circles. So this was a little bit typical question. That is for employers' point of view, or the law and regulations, because you are from a law background also, and you are with the finance and banking policy making part. So he has asked this question, sir. So please have a
So the point is, he spoke about social benefits for the employees.
employees.
Employees, number one.
Yeah,
Please
employees.
hang on. Please hang on. Don't mute. The second point that he has asked is about quality circles.
Yes, sir. So, because this situation may change the entire mental setup, and loyalty has gone. So, this was one of the points yesterday we got into. So, we cannot expect loyalty. So, in this situation, how the things are going to. Can you hear me, sir? Hello? Hello? Disconnected. Sir, I hope it is disconnected at your end, sir. ఏం చెప్పు చూడండి ముందు ఆయన ఏం చెప్పాలి కదా బాబు హలో సార్ కెన్ యూ హియర్ మీ సార్ సార్ ప్లీజ్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ 30 seconds సార్ Hello. Okay, now on behalf of the Gates Institute of Technology and on behalf of Department of Management Studies, Principal Sir, Managing Director Sir, and Correspondent Madam, I really thank Dr. M.R. Senapathy Garu for accepting our invitation and for giving all the information and the updates and the insights about the post-COVID situation which we are going to face in future. I really thank you, sir, and I thank all the participants for being here and for their patience listening and for their continuous cooperation and support. And I request all the participants to be on time, like in the earlier sessions, and we hope that our FDP will provide you good insights in the coming sessions also. And I thank you one and all for joining this session and for other, upcoming sessions also. Close session.